Hey guys, am I audible? Okay. Do you remember, guys, what we have covered in the previous session? Guys, can you confirm what we have covered in the previous session? Database. Okay. So database. Yes, we have covered the database. In that we have covered RDS. RDS, right? Yes, we have covered the RDS. So today, and we have seen one practical demonstration. Did I cover like how to connect the RDS with help of EC2? Did we done that one?
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay, okay. So yes, so did we cover the RDS snapshot also? RDS snapshot?
Yes, we have deleted the RDS and
yes, correct. Yes, yes. So in RDS, we have one small topic, right? The topic is, which is RDS Read replica. We have a topic called RDS Read replica. It's one theoretical topic. So just we'll try to understand how the read replica works. Remember, guys, read replica is one of the feature which is available inside your relational database system. What is the purpose of this read replica, if you ask me? There are two primary reasons. One is replica means copy, right? The copy is available in another availability zone or another region. Thereby, we can provide high availability. That is the primary reason why we have this read replica concept. Thereby, it will give you more performance to the customer. See, if we go with them, consider like we have a region. We have a region. Right? This is my North Virginia region. In North Virginia region, we can create one RDS instance. Right? In availability zone, suppose we have an availability zone. Inside the availability zone, we have created one instance. We have created one instance, which is called a primary RDS. When I say primary RDS, primary database, we have. Now, using this RDS from the AWS cloud, what you guys can do in another availability zone within a region, or if you have another region, even if you have another region in availability zone, you can able to read this and you can have the copy in another availability zone or another region also. Maybe this is called as read replica, your copy of database, your copy of instance, the primary database. You can have it in another availability zone or another region. Thereby, suppose, consider like it's a Mumbai region. Now, here we have a customer, right? In Mumbai region also we have a customer. This customer no need to read this primary database. Suppose if this customer wants to read the data from your database, RDS, then this customer no need to go for North Virginia and they no need to read the data from the primary database. Instead, if you create a read replica in different availability zone or region, they can read it from here. They can read it from, even if you have another availability zone or you have a read replica here, only read, not write operation. I'm talking about only read. So this customer, instead of going your North Virginia region inside the particular availability zone, they can read it from Mumbai or Ohio in their region itself. So that's the purpose of read replica. For MySQL, we can have till 5 read replica we can able to create it. Up to 5 read replica we can able to create it for your primary database. For your primary database, we can create up to 5 replica. Read replica, I'm not talking about the write replica. Then there is a question, right? Say for an example, here we have a primary database and here we have a multiple read replica in each availability zone within a region or other availability zone. Again, this is and all going to frame by the architect team. Now the question is, how soon this read replica will be getting updated. Suppose if you are doing any update operation here, or if you are writing anything here, that will be available in read replica, right? It will be available in another instance. That way other people can able to read it here. But it is not a synchronous operation, guys. It is not immediately available in read replica. It is asynchronous replication. Thereby you can find some little lag. You can see little lag. Don't think like once it is updated next millisecond, it will be updated in the read replica. No, it will take some time, right? There would be a lag is available. When the read replica got increased, the lag will be very high. Lag will be very high. Again, remember, for each read replica, you can able to create another set of read replica also. For each read replica also, you can create another set of read replica. For primary database, you can able to create a 5 read replica, but for each read replica, you can able to create more replicas, but lag will be very high. So why do I need to go for this read replica from your AWS cloud? If you ask me, of course, I need to provide high availability of my database and I need to increase the performance. But remember, the primary database to the read replica, it is asynchronous replication. It is not a synchronous replication. You have to remember. It will have some lag. Are you clear, guys, here? Are you getting my point?
Yes, Dinesh.
So read replica, it is one of the features inside your AWS RDS database. You can create up to 5 replica, right? For secondary replica or the read replica for your primary database. Not write operation I am talking about. I'm talking only about the read operation. So this is maybe generally people might ask, hey, how we can provide high availability with help of RDS? You can tell them, hey, we have a concept called RDS read replica. Using that, we can create 5 secondary database or read replica of your RDS. Like that, you can tell at the time of intent. Okay. Right. This is fine.
Dinesh, the replica, like, will there be any time period or time lag?
Yeah, we have a time. Yeah, we have a thing called TTL, time to live. Yeah, give me some time. I will talk about that one. What is TTL?
Okay.
To answer to your question now, see, whenever if you update your primary database, immediately it will not be available based on your data. How much data that you are going to update on your RDS and what kind of operation that you are going to perform. Whether it is a creating operation or updating, or you are going to delete, or you are going to retrieve. What kind of operation that you are going to perform. Based on that, the time will change. Okay, Jaya?
Okay.
Right. So relational database service we have completed. So guys, you won't expect much question from your database service, but you need to learn the basics. That's the reason I have covered RDS. So now let's focus now the another database service, which is NoSQL database service, which is nothing but a Dynamo DB. We have Dynamo database, Dynamo DB. RDS, it is the relational database service. It is a SQL, but Dynamo DB, it is a NoSQL database. It is a NoSQL database. So whenever, if your data is unstructured or semi-structured, your data is available in the form of key and value. Your data is available in the form of document. Then we cannot go for your structured database service, which is your RDS. That time, we need to go for a Dynamo DB. If your data is unstructured or semi-structured, which database we need to go for? We need to go for NoSQL database, which is your Dynamo DB. Dynamo DB. And if you ask me Dynamo DB, Okay, so first of all, let's see practically, thereby you will get some idea. Let me. So yeah, quickly confirm. Will you able to see my screen? AWS Management Console.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me sign into my console. Okay. Yes. See, I can search for Dynamo DB here. Dynamo DB, it is a NoSQL database. It is managed NoSQL database. Guys, RDS also manage the service. And Dynamo DB also a managed service because everything is going to take care by AWS, not a customer. There are two types of services you have to remember. One is managed service and unmanaged service. RDS and Dynamo DB and whatever the database that you are using inside your AWS cloud is called as a managed service. Here everything is going to take care by not a customer. It is going to managed by the AWS. Now let me click on this Dynamo DB. And you can see like this. Guys, did you remember when you go for your RDS, when you create a database, initially you will create a database. After that, you will create tables. But if you go with the Dynamo DB, here we are going to create directly a table, right? So let me click on this create table. And we have to give them a table name. We can give the table name, say suppose I can give a table name like this is Dynamo DB hyphen table or underscore table I underscore demo. So this will identify your table. So Dynamo DB underscore table underscore demo. And the next one is primary key. And we have a primary key, which is partition key. What is partition key? Partition key is a part of table primary key. It is a hash value that is used to retrieve the item from your table and allocate data across host for scalability and availability, right? So remember, what is your partition key? In database, we have a concept called primary key. In database, we have a concept called primary key. What is primary key? Suppose, let me take one table, say student table. I have a student ID and we have a student name and we have a subject. Say I have a student subjects and finally we have a student marks. Consider this is your table. Student ID, student name, student subject, student marks. Student marks. See, suppose I'm giving student ID is 1 and I'm giving name Dinesh and say I have a subject called AWS and a mark I'm giving say 87. And the second one, say I will give a student name, say Rajesh, and the student subject say Azure and the mark is I say 97. And I have a third subject, say we have Linkesh, and then say this is GCP, Google Cloud, and I can say a mark is 98. Say guys, suppose if you have a student called 4 and here we have a student name, maybe a Dinesh, and student subject, say this is, we have a Python and mark is 58. See, maybe your student name is a duplicate. Maybe in a school, we can find the many student as a Dinesh, but student ID, it will be unique, right? So, you know, this entire table, when you consider, here we have a multiple rows, which is making unique. Of course, a student ID, right? This table, who is making unique? Student ID is making unique. Because here also we have a Dinesh data. Here also we have a Dinesh data. Maybe there are two Dinesh in a class. But when you see the student ID, the row will consider as a unique, right? So the whenever in a table, if you are thinking like one column that I need to make it as a primary key, thereby that will make a row as a unique. Then that column, we can call it as a primary key. Are you getting my point? What is primary key? Yes or no? Guys, are you getting my point? What is primary key?
Yeah, Dinesh.
Remember, a primary key is nothing but the column that you are going to represent it as a unique. When you represent as a unique, thereby each and every row will be considered as unique, right? For that, we are going for a primary key. So in Dynamo DB also, we have a partition key. Here you can mention which column that you are going to make it as a unique. Right? Suppose this is student table. I can consider this is my student table, and I can give you a primary key, which is ID. Student ID. I can select some type, right? Whether it is a binary number or it is a number or it is string. Yeah, let me make it as a number. Partition key, I'm going to make it as a ID and number. It is a column. The column name is ID. And we have a concept called sort key. I will come later. Wait. Once we understand how we can create the table, later I will come back to this sort key. As of now, just to focus on partition key, which is primary key. One primary key. And table setting, you guys can leave it as default setting. And if you want to add some tag, you can add it. Otherwise, directly, you can create a table. So click on create a table. Click on create a table. See, you have a table got created. Dynamo DB table underscore student underscore demo, and status is creating. And which one you make it as a partition key? ID is a partition key. ID is a number. ID is a number, and sort key indexes. Let's talk about this one. But as of now, it is available now. It is active. Now, this is the time to click on this Dynamo DB table. Once you click on this Dynamo DB table, you can see the many sections here, and directly I can go with this explore table items. Explore table item, click on this. Explore table item. Here you can create multiple items, guys. Can you see multiple item? You can able to create it. Remember, item means row. In this table, you guys can create multiple rows. That's nothing but an item. Create an item. Right? Click on this create item, and here see, automatically you got the ID, right? ID is partition key, which is a primary key, and you can give some ID. Say suppose ID is 1, and which is an integer type. Let me add one more row. This is the first row. Say suppose I will add one more row. Not one more row, one more column. I'm adding one more column. Say which is name. Name is another column, and I can give a name here. Say name is Shakti. Name is Shakti, and it's a string type. I will add one more column. One more column. Say this is I will add as a number. What is the number? Yeah, number. So mobile number. I can create a mobile number field. Mobile number field. Let me write some mobile number, which is 4, 5, and 10. Okay, fine. And I will add another attribute. Say this is subject, and write which is AWS. And I can add another attribute. say number, which is marks. Say here 80 is the marks. Right? That's it. I can create one item here. This is one row. Click on create item. Now what happened? You got one row, right? So ID is 1 and mark is 18. Mobile number this one. Name is Sakti and subject is this one. Let me create another item and ID is 2. And I will add string, which is the name. Say this is Sharon. And I will add subject. Where is the subject string? Subject. So this is Azure. And then mobile number. Subject. This is mobile number. Say this is some mobile number I am typing. Fine. Let me add marks. Say this is some. I have added. Marks, it should be okay. Okay. Written it. Now see. Can you find it here? Here we have a subject. Let me add one more item. Create an item. ID is 3. And then I can add, which is name. I can add some mobile number. See, if I go with the list means for a person, we can add a multiple mobile number, right? If you go with the list, say I can give the mobile. Here, I can see number. Here I'm adding, say, insert a field, which is a number. I will add some mobile number here. And okay, I have added. So let me add one more. Say I will add map. This time, say I'm adding, say some marks. And here, say I will add string. Here I can give, right, marks is in AWS 67. I will add one more field, string. In Azure, I can give some other number, like create an item. So here, you can see, right, the person, Sudeep, he has the data in the form of key and value. See, AWS 67, Azure 78, S represents string. So what I mean is, here you can store some unstructured data. In unstructured data, guys, before that, guys, in programming, we have two terms. One is called list and another one is map. If you ask me what is list, right, you can store a group of data. Say, suppose I want to store multiple mobile number, then it's a group of data, right? For a single person, we can store multiple data. Say, suppose here, I need to store a multiple subject also. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Python, Java, right? We can store the many item. That's called a list. But in programming, we have another term which is called map. Map means group of key and values. Say, suppose I can store like this. AWS is a key. The mark is 87, comma. Azure is the key. I can store 78. GCP is the key, which is 56. Python is the key, 67. Java is the key, 89. right? So like that, we can store the key and value. Group of key and value is nothing but a map. Only a group of value is nothing but a list. Are you getting my point? What is list and map? Yes or no? Yes, are you getting, or do you want me to explain more?
Yes, Dinesh.
See, normally if we go with the RDS, right, we can store a data in the form of table, structured data. But if we go with the Dynamo DB, here we can store unstructured or semi-structured data. Did you see here? Here we have a column called ID. Here we don't define a marks. Here we don't define subject, right? Maybe you can create a multiple column here, but you no need to specify, some column also. But if we go with this one ID, here we defined in the form of map. The data is available in the form of map. If we go here, where is that? Where is that? Let me tell you. Say, suppose you can take the mobile number. Here we have a mobile number, right? So I will add one more data. I can define multiple mobile number. We'll see how can I add the multiple mobile number. Let me click on create item. Say, suppose this ID, I can make it as a 10. 10 is the ID. And I will add one name. Say name is Raghu. I have added Raghu. And now I will add mobile number. Where is mobile number? I can take list. It is my mobile number. This time I'm going to define multiple mobile number. Where is that? Multiple mobile number. We can define multiple mobile number. Say this is one mobile number and this is one mobile number, and I can add one more mobile number also. Say this is my another mobile number. So when you click on create item, now check my table. Can you check it here? Mobile number for Raghu. Where is that? Here. Mobile number for Raghu. We have a 3 data, right? So based on our need, we can add it. But if you find this table, here we don't have this data. So whatever that we want in different way, in different structure, whether it's a semi-structure or unstructured, we can able to create it with the help of your Dynamo DB. But this feasibility is not available in RDS because RDS only accept the structured data. In every column, we should have the data, and when you define here integer, this is also integer, this is also integer, this is also integer. When you define this is a string, this is also a string, this is also a string. But when you go with the Dynamo DB, based on our requirement, we can create the data. Suppose, let me try, guys. I have already created a 1, right? I will try to create one more 1 now. Do you think will it work? So when you click on create item, it is giving an error. Why? Because the primary key, what you made, the first column, you made it as a primary key. When I make it as a primary key, that should be unique, right? That should be unique. We cannot do this one. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Repeat that again.
Yeah, what I said, in a table, we already, ID is the primary key. When I say ID is a primary key, means what? It should be unique. ID is unique.
Yeah.
1, 3, 2, 10, we already added. Now let me try to add 1 again. 1 again. If I click on create item, you will get an error, right? Because the conditional request.
It's already there.
Yes.
Yeah.
An item with the primary key you provided already exists. The number 1 is already present. Right? Let me make it as a 10. When you click on create item, again you will get an error, right? Because 10 is already available. Only you can able to create a different ID. Are you getting my point? Yeah? Everyone?
Yes, yes. Got it.
So this is the effective of primary key. Suppose consider like I need to define for the same person Dinesh. Consider like this is the person Dinesh. Dinesh ID is 1. And I have written Dinesh, and I'm going to define, say subject is Ruby. Subject is Ruby, and the mark is 90. So what I said, for the same person, I need to allow Ruby because already AWS is available. Anyway, this guy is not going to present for AWS because already he has written AWS exam. Now he is going to write the Ruby. Will I able to add this row into the Dynamo DB? Can you tell me? Will I able to add this particular row into the Dynamo DB? What do you think?
No, because the student ID is same, right?
Yeah, student ID is same. But is there any possibility? Is there any possibility to add? What do you think? How can I proceed further? List. Yep, that's the one way, correct. We can go for the list. But what I need to create one more row. I want to create one more row. Is that possible then? Is that possible to add one more row where I can give Dinesh and Ruby and 90? It is not possible, right? As of now, correct?
Yeah, as of now.
Yeah, it is not possible. But in SQL itself, we have another concept called composite key. We have a concept called composite key. What is this composite key will do? See, already we have a Dinesh, and I have written AWS and I have given the marks. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the student ID and student subject combinedly. Like it means that I'm going to combine the student ID, student subject. Thereby, I'm going to make the composite key. So what I mean, already I have a student ID, it is unique. Now, when I create one more student, it will give you an error, right? But student subject is different. For the same person, the student subject is different. So for that reason, either of them, one is unique means that's fine. Either student ID or student subject, one of the component is unique means that's fine. Thereby, I will mark the student subject also primary key. So when you see this combinedly, can you tell me the student ID and student subject, one is AWS and student ID and student subject, one is Ruby. Now, can I call this a unique? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So I'm going to combine with help of a composite key. So composite key in your Dynamo DB is also called as sort key. Partition key is nothing but your primary key. Sort key is nothing but your composite key. Now let's show that one. Now better. Yep. See, now I have a table. This is a table. In this table, can you see sort key is blank? Sort key is blank. And edit this one. No, wait. Edit. Where is the sort key? Okay. Better. I can create a new table. Wait. So that time I will show. See, suppose this is my table. Say student table or employee table. Employee hyphen table. Employee table. And the partition key, I can consider like employee ID. Employee ID is the partition key. I have a number. Now I'm going to give sort key. Sort key is nothing but say subject. Sort key is nothing but subject. And this is a string. Now default settings and all you can leave it. Just click on create a table. When you click on a create a table, now we got the employee table. It is not active here. It's active. Now click on this. Now I will explore the table item and click on a create item. See here, employee ID is a partition key and subject is sorted key. Say suppose employee ID is 1. Employee ID is a 1. And what is the sort key? Say suppose this is AWS. And I will add one name also. What is that? Name. Name is, consider this is Dinesh. And I will add create an item. We have one row got added. So I will add another item now. So this is again one I'm going to give. Subject this time I can give Azure. and I can create a name string. Say name is same Dinesh, and click on create item. Can you see here? I can able to create the two employee ID. Why? Because I have added the started key. Now suppose let me add number 1, same number 1. Here if I type Azure, and I can create one name also, say this is Dinesh or some other thing, click on create item, you will get an error, right? Because you already given a primary key and start key. Composite key you have given. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? What's the purpose of start key? Are you clear? Yes, confirm.
Yes, finished.
Everyone, what is start key? Are you clear? What is primary key and start key? What is partition key and start key? Or do you want me to repeat once again? Yes, please confirm. Fine. Fine. So I hope you are clear with respect to the difference between your RDS and Dynamo DB, where you need to store the data in the form of table and it should be structured data. But whenever if you want to store your data in the form of unstructured, in the form of key and value, then you can go for a Dynamo DB. In real time, people will go for Dynamo DB only when they need an unstructured data and NoSQL database. It is an example. And I need to tell two more important points with respect to your Dynamo DB. One is it is your public service. It is your public service. When I say public service, did you remember when I create RDS that I have created inside the VPC, right? Inside the default VPC, I have created your RDS, your EC2 instance, everything is created inside your VPC. But did you see anywhere, did I use any default VPC and all? No, right? When I create a table, anything I have created like default VPC and all? No. So that's the reason I'm saying your Dynamo DB is a public service. It is not like you are creating inside a VPC, not required. It is a public service. And one more point, it is serverless database also. It is a serverless database. And I hope you remembered when I create a RDS, I have used something called instance class. There are two classes. One is what is that? One is memory instance class. Did you remember? So I will tell you. Now, if I go with the RDS, we have a two instance classes. One is standard and another one is memory optimized. I will show. See, here we have DB instance class. You need a server, right? So for that, we have either we can go for standard or we can go for memory optimized. It means that RDS your server. RDS is a server database, but Dynamo DB, it is a serverless database. Here we don't have any term called like standard class, memory optimized, nothing we are going to select, but I will tell you one place where I need to define, but as of now, just remember, it is a serverless database. Everyone clear so far? What is serverless? Yes, sir.
Yes, finished.
Okay. Now, listen. See, if we go, I will show something here, which is go to this one. Go to this indexes, global table. 。 Oh my gosh, let me check that particular column. It should be available. Where is it? Yes, here. Can you see here? There is an option called on demand and provision under your capacity mode. Under your capacity mode, there is a two option. One is called on demand and provision. If you go with the on demand, nothing you can see. Just click on it. But if you go with the provision, I will tell you what is provision on demand. And open this capacity calculator. Capacity calculator. As I said, in Dynamo DB, we can able to store your unstructured data. I said it's a NoSQL database. And here, suppose I have a data called like 4 KB data I have, right? I suppose consider like in your table, you have a 4 KB data. And I want to read the data. Say, suppose I want to read this data in 1 second or 1 second, right? Or 5 seconds. I need to read this 4 KB data in a 5 second or 4 second, consider. And I want to write the data into this table, like 4 KB data in 4 seconds. Then can you see here? It is calculating something called RCU. RCU means read capacity unit and write capacity unit. Here, if you want to write a 4 KB data in a second, consider like in a second, I want to write the 4 KB data. Then what is the read capacity unit? It is saying 1. What is the write capacity units? It is saying 4. It means that how much estimation card? $2.04 per month you have to pay it for this one. But suppose I have a 100 KB data. I have a 100 KB data that I need to read it in a second and I need to write it in a second. Then what is the cost? $49.62 per month. And suppose if you have a 1000 KB data and I need to read it in 10 seconds, I need to write it in maybe in 20 seconds. What is the cost? 9,792.90. So based on your data, based on in a second what you are going to perform, you need to pay accordingly. It will calculate an RCU and WCU. So if you have some historical data, you can able to define this RCU and ICU. So in the interview, people might ask what is read capacity unit and what is write capacity unit. What you need to say? Right, amount of data that we are going to write or read in a second, which is nothing but your read capacity units or write capacity unit. Based on that, you have to pay the estimated cost. But if you go with the on demand, right, this read capacity unit and write capacity unit automatically will be scaled up by your AWS cloud. But suppose if you need to define, maybe you need a more performance and you are ready to pay, then you can go for the provision. See here, on demand means simplifying billing by pay for the actual read and write your application perform. But if you go with the provision, here you can give a read and write capacity in advance. Are you getting my point? What is read capacity unit and write capacity unit in Dynamo DB?
Yes, finish.
Yes.
And here we have a two term, right? Maybe a read consistency and write consistency. If we go with the read consistency, we have a many option, which is called eventually and strongly. Eventually and strongly, this two terminology, right? And earlier, I think 2 years back, this eventually consistent, eventually consistency or strongly consistent. It is available in your S3 also. In S3 also, this terminology is available, but year back, they have deleted this one. Now we have only a strongly consistent. Now I will tell you what is the difference between this eventually consistent and strongly consistent. Guys, whatever, say suppose, if you are performing Suppose if you are updating some data into your database, whatever the data that you are updating in your database, that time only for, say, suppose you are going to update some data. You are going to update some data. When you update some data, what will happen? Of course, I need to see the data. I need to see the data should be immediately present, right? Need to see the data immediately should be appear. Immediately should be appear. When you update or upload some data to your database, immediately you need to see the data should be appear in the server. That is nothing but strongly consistent. Strongly consistent means in the next millisecond, when you update some data, it will be immediately available. It will be available. Consider, now I am going to delete some data. And you have some replica also. Now what will happen? When you delete that particular data from the database, it is available in another database also, in another availability zone also. Maybe you have a read replica. Then it will take some time, right? And it will take some time to delete. It should be up. This, I'm not saying in all the cases. Maybe in some cases, maybe it will take some time to delete it from the server. It will take some time, right? It will take some time or some lag to disappear from the server. Disappear from the server. Right? So that's called as an eventually consistent. Strong consistent means immediately that will be available in the server. When you do the operation, in the next millisecond, you can find it. But in some cases, based on your data or based on your operation, when you delete or when you do some kind of operation, that time the data, won't reflect as soon as possible. That's nothing but eventually consistent. Earlier in S3, we have these two options, eventually and strongly. But now we have only a strongly consistent. But in database, in your Dynamo DB, still your eventually consistent is available. And of course, cost is high for strong consistent. Why cost is high for strong consistent? Because the immediate reflection should be there, right? Immediate reflection should be there. Are you clear what is strong consistent and eventual consistent? Yes or no? So there are two consistency in storage. One is called eventual consistent and strong consistent. Strong consistent means when you perform some operation, immediately the data will be available on the server. But if we go with the eventually, suppose if you are performing the delete operation, it will take some time to disappear from the server. Right? So whatever. Yeah, tell me.
No, Dinesh, nothing.
Okay. So here, if you go with the Dynamo DB, here you can select whether do you want to get a strongly consistent or eventual consistent. Suppose, consider like here I have given the eventual consistent. I want to read or write 100 KB data. The cost is 49.62 and the read capacity unit is 30. But if I use strongly consistent, see the read capacity unit is 25 because immediately the data should be available on the database and I need to read it. So for that you need to pay extra money. In the same way, if you go with the write consistency, here we have a standard and transaction. If you go with the transaction, and you have to pay more money. Are you clear what is eventual and strong?
Yeah, Dinesh.
Yes, Dinesh.
So for strong consistent, you have to pay a lot. You have to pay a lot, but the capacity, the read capacity unit, that will be very high. When read capacity unit is very high, you can able to read your data in very, a faster manner, right? But remember, it is only for provisional. But if you go with the on-demand, we don't have any RCU and WCU and all. That will be calculated at the runtime. Who will calculate? AWS will calculate. Based on your usages, based on you are utilizing your application, you have to pay accordingly. So this is the topic with respect to capacity mode. So there are two capacity mode which is provided by your Dynamo DB. One is called on-demand and provision. In provision, you have to remember these two terminology. The metrics. One is called a read capacity unit and write capacity unit. How it will be calculated? Based on a strongly consistent or eventually consistent. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, we have one more concept. In your database, we have a concept called indexing. In a database, because this concept and all, if already completed the SQL developer, they are aware of. But for us, it is new, right? But anyway, only thing is you need to understand how the terminology works, how the things works. That's it. No need to go deeper. Now, yeah, we have a concept called indexing in SQL. In Dynamo DB, we have a concept called indexing. If you ask me what is the purpose of indexing, what's the purpose of indexing? Indexing, it is one of the optimization technique, actually. Indexing is one of the optimization technique. For what? For database. For database to maybe fetch the data soon. We have a concept called indexing. Consider, guys, suppose if you are working with one e-commerce platform, you are working with one e-commerce application. Inside the e-commerce application, consider you are doing the payment, or you are doing some kind of searching the product. One particular product you are searching. Suppose if you got the great sale and you are searching the iPhone 13 you are searching. And consider this particular second, around 1 lakh customer, they are searching the same product again and again. The lakh customer or a particular customer also thousands times is searching this iPhone 13, right? Multiple times we are hitting a product which is called iPhone 13. Maybe consider this iPhone 13 available in one column called a brand name. In database, in Dynamo DB, we have a brand name or the mobile brand, which is iPhone 13. There are huge requests. It is coming to this particular column. We have a column, different column, right? In the table, we have a brand, we have a cost, we have maybe a shipping, we have a many column, right? But what is happening? Only this particular column, the customer, they are hitting again and again. The frequent request operation is going on this one. Then what? Obviously the performance will be reduced, right? Because keep on we are hitting the same column. Then what will happen? Then of course, it will take some lag, right? So we will not get as soon as possible the data. It will take some time. For that reason, what people they have done, they have introduced one term called indexing. Using the indexing concept, we can able to make one column. We can make one column optimized. Right? How? So there are two indexing concept is available. Indexing is one optimization technique. When someone is eating the particular column again and again, when you use the indexing, the performance will be high. Right? The performance will be very high. Right? There are two types of indexing in Dynamo DB. One is called LSI, which is local secondary index. Local secondary index. There is another concept called GSI, which is global secondary index. Global secondary index. Remember, once again, I will repeat what is indexing. Indexing is one of the concept in your database. That's an optimization technique. Thereby, when particular column we are hitting it again. So in order to make it optimized, in order to get the good performance, we can make one column as indexed column. So there are two indexing available in Dynamo DB. One is called local secondary index and another one is the global secondary index. Are you clear so far? Yes, sir. Everyone clear? What is local secondary index? What is global secondary index? Quickly confirm. Right. So what is local secondary index? When I can create the local secondary index, so it can be created, local secondary index, it can be created only during table creation. Only during table creation. At the time of table creation or before creating a table, we can able to define this local secondary index. We cannot define this local secondary index after the table creation. Remember, After the table creation, we cannot define the local secondary index. Before creating a table only, we can able to define. So what is global secondary index? It can be created, either before or after table creation. Suppose if you have created the table, I can define the global secondary index, or at the time of table creation also I can define the global secondary index, but local secondary index only at the time of table creation we can able to define. So let me show. See, suppose I can create one table here. Say this is my person table. I have a person table, and the partition key. Say I have a person ID, and this is a partition ID. Right. See, I can make it as a number and name. This is my string type data, right? So, or otherwise you can make it a subject. It is easy, subject string. Now after that, click on create a table. Once you have created the table, that's right. Yes, I have a table called person. Once you created the table, click on this, and I can see indexes, and click on create index. Only you can define the global secondary index. Can you see here? After table creation, only you can able to define global secondary index. We cannot define the local. Are you getting my point or not? Right? Okay, sorry, clear?
Yes, Dinesh.
So once you create the table, only you can define the global secondary index. And here you can tell partition global secondary index, right? Here you can see the partition key and sort key. You can able to define a partition key and sort key, and you can create a new table using this. So what we are doing, right? So what is the thing here happening? I'm telling you. See, here we have a person table. In person table, you have a many columns. Consider like you have a many columns, and along with that, you can see many records. When I say many record, many items. You have a items. You have added 100 items, consider like. But for particular column, what is the particular column? Say brand name is the particular column. This brand name getting the huge request. In that case, what the people are doing, right? Database people, the database architect people, what they are doing, they are creating one more table. Using indexing concept. How this table looks like? Using this person table. Suppose in this person table, I want two columns. Like I need a person ID and I need a brand name. Only these two columns. It will create one dummy table, or it will create one temporary table. Not temporary table. It will create one table using the indexing concept. Now the customer, they will not directly hit this particular table. Already we have a table, right? Person table. They will not hit this one. Instead, they will hit this particular table. Thereby, it will give you good performance, right? Because everyone is hitting this particular table. That's the reason it is lagging. For that reason, using the indexing concept, we are creating one table, and the customer will be redirected to this particular table. Are you getting my point? What is the purpose of indexing?
Yeah.
So here you can give which partition key and which sorted key you are going to create, and you can give the index name also. And for this particular table, again we have a capacity, RCU and WCU. So when you create the global secondary index, you are creating one table from the main table, from the base table, and you can define your partition key and sort key. Thereby you can frame one table. Now the customer, they will redirect to here. So if someone is asking how this global secondary index, you have to remember what, before table creation or after table creation, you can able to define. The one more point you have to remember, here we have to define both partition key and sort key to create the new table, and based on that your RCU and WCU will be calculated, whether are you opting for the on demand or provision based on. But let's see at the time of table.
Dinesh,
Yeah, tell me.
but indirectly, the same table also refers to the main person table, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay.
Your table, yes, your secondary table, right? The table that you are creating with the help of your global secondary index. That is referring your main table only, person table only.
But only pulling two information, maybe the pressure, I mean, like the capacity will decrease, right?
Exactly, correct. Yes. Right. Say suppose this is one table called department. Department is my table name. And I'm selecting one department ID and a department name, maybe whatever it might be after that. And I can see. When you click on this custom settings, can you see your secondary index? Here we have a local index and global index, right? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
At the time of table creation only, we can able to define the local index and global index. But once the table is created, only we can define what? We can define global index.
Yeah.
We cannot define the local index. So we can click on create local index. In local index, we cannot give the partition key. Only what we can give? Only one key, which is called sort key. Are you clear? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dinesh.
So in local secondary index, we can only one sort key we can able to define. We cannot define the partition key and all. So you can define some sort key and attribute. See, here it is creating one index name ID-index. And only particular key if you want to define, or you can define all the table attribute or project into the index. Suppose if you want to define the global index, you can define the partition key and sorted key. In interview, you can expect what is indexing. That time you can tell indexing is one of the optimization technique. That's to make one new table that will be created either by local secondary index or global secondary index. At the time of your table creation, we can define both. But once the table is created, we can define only a global secondary index. Everyone clear so far? Any question?
So this is definite interview question.
Yeah, mostly you can expect this question from the interview, from the Dynamo DB. They will ask you what is the purpose of indexing, and they will ask you what is the difference between local secondary index and global secondary index. Fine, everyone? Or do you want me any question here? What is indexing and what is the difference between these two? Is confirm? At least in the chat box, tell me yes or no. Fine. Okay. So we have, so far what we have covered? Did you remember what we have covered? How to create a Dynamo table and how we can store some unstructured data. What is partition key and what is sort key, which means that composite key, and what is meant by consistency in your storage, how RCU and WCU is calculated, and what is the purpose of indexing, what is local secondary index, what is global secondary index. Any question here?
No, Dinesh, everything is okay.
Okay. Right. So we have one more part in your indexing or in your Dynamo DB, which is called global table. Global table. Global table is a kind of replica. Global table is a kind of a replica. In RDS, we have a read replica, right? In the same way, using global table, we can create a replica in another region also. Right? So how this is happening, I will tell you, but you can create a replica by create replica. Here, where you need the replica. Suppose I want the replica in Mumbai region. From the North Virginia, I need a replica in the Mumbai region. We can able to create it. And you can click on create replica here. Create replica here. Thereby, the same Dynamo DB, this particular table, it is available. See, now it is taking some time. See, it is creating in Mumbai. I will show you. Once it is created, I will open this duplicate. Yes, it is chargeable. It is not a free of cost. Immediately, I need to delete this one. But anyway, I will show. See, I will go for Mumbai. I can select Mumbai. It is not available yet, but you will get it, guys. You will get it. Wait for a while. It will take some time. Once it is created, this copy is available in your another region also. So that's the purpose of this global table. Fine. What is global table? Simple replica. Yes or no? Yes, are you clear what is global table? Global table means replica. We can create a replica in another region with the help of your global table. Fine.
Yes, please.
Wait after a couple of seconds. Yes. See, can you see here Mumbai region? In Mumbai region, we can see this employee table, right? How we got with the help of your replica. Fine. Right.
Yeah, Dinesh.
How it is happening? Maybe in the interview, actually, a week back, the people they asked how it is happening. It is happening because of something which is, I will show. How we are getting this read replica, right? This is the concept. Dynamo DB stream details. This Dynamo DB stream, it is act as one streaming API. This streaming API only doing, a copy from your USA region to Mumbai region. See, it will capture item level changes in your table and push the changes to your Dynamo DB stream. Push the changes to your Dynamo DB stream. You then can access the change information through the Dynamo stream API. If someone is asking, hey, how your data got replicated between the region, the answer is the Dynamo DB stream. In between, we have this API, Dynamo DB. Whatever the table we create, it will be available in another AV zone. Yes, correct. In another region, I said, not availability zone. Yeah, in availability zone also, we can able to map it. If you want, you can map it. Suppose I will delete this table. But before that, let me check whether it is created. No. I think it is cast, guys. I will better delete this. Confirm. There is an issue because it is under the process, right? That's the reason I'm not able to delete it. But anyway, we will delete it. So using this Dynamo DB stream, we can create the global table in another region or another availability zone based on your need. So let me click on any table from here. This I can click on this one and go to the global table. They create a replica. And here, say, suppose I'm selecting another region. So Oregon. And you can click on create replica. That's it. Your data will be available in another region. Any questions so far? What is the global table? What is indexing? What is global table? Clear?
Yes, Dinesh.
The another one is backup. This word you are hearing a lot. Of course, you know what is backup. Backup. What's the purpose of backup?
Restoration of data.
Exactly. So point in time recovery, right? Point in time recovery. So whenever if you need your data on particular time, that time if I want to recover, so we can go for a backup. See, here you can create a backup simply by clicking on create backup, under which table I need to take a backup. This particular table I need to take a backup, and you can click on create a backup. That's it. And suppose if you want to provide this one, suppose I want to backup with help of AWS backup. There are two backup is available. One is internal and AWS is providing a backup. Either of them we can select. And suppose you know what is retention period and all. Suppose I need for last week, 1 week data I need. After that I need to delete them. Or I need the retention period of year. 1 year I need to save it. After that I can delete it. No issues. So like that, you can create a backup with help of a customized setting. So in like S3, like EBS, we have a backup in your Dynamo DB also. Backup is simply means that you are creating one copy, or you just point in time recovery. For that we are going for backup. Suppose if you click in this one, here you can define point in time recovery and you can click on the changes. Thereby, can you see here? Provide continuous backup of your Dynamo DB for 35 days. For next 35 days, continuously it will take the backup to help you protect against accidental write or delete operations. So, suppose accidentally, if your data got deleted, you can pick it from here. But it is chargeable, guys. In real time, people, they will go for this backup and all. So any questions so far? What is manual backup or maybe automatic backup? Yes. Quickly confirm.
Yes, finished.
Right. And this one, sometime, suppose in your S3, if you have some files, or if you have some unstructured data, I want to upload that unstructured data from S3, sorry, your Dynamo DB to S3. Can I able to upload from Dynamo DB to S3? Yes. You can click on export to S3. Suppose if you have a bulk amount of data, you don't have enough space for your Dynamo DB and you have a much cost, I need to upload to the S3 bucket. Then you can go for this export option. Using this, you can able to upload a data from the Dynamo DB to, guys, this are all, an interview question people might ask. They will ask you, hey, can I able to share your data from your Dynamo DB to S3? Yes. Export and stream is available. Using this, you can able to export. Fine.
Yes, finished.
So this is also remember. And did you remember I said time to live? What is time to live? Can anyone tell me what is time to live?
When to dissolve the backup.
Yes. Say suppose if you have some table and you want to keep that particular table only for this particular maybe hours or particular month or particular year, automatically after that I need to delete expired item from the table. Then you can select the time to live option also. Even if you delete your data, I need to protect the data. Then you can go for deletion protection. Like that, in a Dynamo DB, there are many options are available. You can use it. But what you need to remember, Dynamo DB, it is a one NoSQL database where we can store the unstructured data. It is giving a concept called indexing and global table, backup and export and If you want to have the time to leave everything, we can able to configure inside your Dynamo DB. No need to, everything I need to configure means I need to pay the money, because whatever the extra features that I'm using from the Dynamo DB, I need to pay the money. Only thing theoretically. In interview also people won't ask, right? You can configure this one like that, they will not tell you. So no need to worry. Fine.
Yes, Dinesh.
Fine.
Like Dinesh,
Yes.
is there any notes available, like, definition, something like that for each channel, every topic?
Mm. I will send you. I have some notes. I will send you.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Dinesh.
You can
Thanks.
refer that notes. But again, Jaya, it is only a limited. Everything I don't have a notes, but we have images, and along with that, some documentation I have. I will share you. But apart from this, please take the running notes at the time of class.
Yeah, that is there.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, any question, guys? Any question so far in Dynamo DB? And if you ask me, hey, can I able to upload some data from the S3 to your Dynamo DB? Yeah, we have the import from S3 also. Export S3 also available, import from S3 also. From Dynamo DB to your S3 to Dynamo DB. Fine?
Okay, Dinesh.
Yeah.
So when you click
So
on
this
this,
is only
yeah.
you have in Dynamo DB or
Yeah, suppose if you have some data from S3 that you need to upload from S3 to your Dynamo DB, then you can click on this one. You can import from S3. You can give the S3 URL from here. Are you getting there?
yes, Dinesh.
Everyone, Pamita, Samvel, any question on Dynamo DB?
Yes, Dinesh.
So till now, we have completed two databases. One is RDS and another one is Dynamo DB. Yes, most of the time you will not expect much question from RDS and Dynamo DB and all for interview. But you should aware, because we don't know which project the people they are going to deploy you. If sometime people deploy you on the database project, then you should be very, as a DevOps engineer, you will not expect much question. But if you are going as a AWS engineer, then you can expect the question from the DB also, database side also. For that, you should have some basic idea. What is indexing? What is partition key? What is primary key? What is maybe global table? What is LSI and what is GSI? Only the basic, whatever that I've learned, right? That I taught. So only those things just to be basic. Fine.
Okay, Dinesh.
So tomorrow, I will take one more database for your interview point of, which is called Redshift. Okay, so far, whatever the database that I've covered, right? Or otherwise, you can take RDS. RDS is the transactional database. There are two databases are available. One is transactional database and another one is analytical database. Your RDS is the transactional database, which is called OLTP, online transactional processing. But we have another database, which is called analytical database, or OLAP, online analytical processing, which is your Redshift. Redshift is one of the famous database in your AWS cloud. Redshift. So I will take tomorrow this Redshift. So once we have covered the database, next we'll go for other part. Could you upload RDS video on YouTube? I have already uploaded somewhere. For your information, I already uploaded. You just check it in YouTube. Fine. Right. So we'll see tomorrow, guys. We'll see Redshift tomorrow.
Okay, Dinesh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.